Coming off the Jets-Giants game, well, we got to turn the page. Which players are safe? Which players aren't safe? There's only one preseason game left. We're going to talk all about it, Boy Green Daily. It starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Leston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. I'm just fired up, man. Football is in the air. It's in the ethos, and we're going to be talking about it here on the show. If you're watching on YouTube, suplex that like button. I see number one Austrian Jet fan saying, yes, let's get creative here with how we deliver it. But sure, suplex the like button. Hooah! Give it the old German suplex, if you will. Whichever way, make sure you like the video, hit subscribe. Again, we're going to get into which players are safe and which players aren't, according to a variety of beat reporters and insiders around the team. I got all my notes in front of me. A couple of, bits and pieces first, though, I would say. First off, if you're interested in our meet and greet, that's coming Saturday, October 4th. That is the day before the Jets play the Dallas Cowboys in Week 5 on Sunday, October 5th. We're hosting a meet and greet at Chef Kevin Gilbert's restaurant. Now, if you're coming to the tailgate, that's a great way to meet a bunch of people that are going to be at the tailgate the next day. If you guys aren't going to the game, but you still want to hang out and meet up, that's another great way to do it. So, guys, if you have any interest in that, you're watching out there in the ethos, and you have any interest in meeting us or hanging out with Jet fans for a night, it'll be Saturday night, October 4th at 7:30. And I'm going to throw up my email right here. Here it is. It's my first name, middle initial, last name, jr@gmail.com. If you have any interest, and I'll give you a few more details here in just a second, that is Paul, Paul, the letter, ESDEN, jr@gmail.com. So if you guys would like to come, feel free. It's 395 Bloomfield Avenue, Caldwell, New Jersey. That is the Cloverleaf Tavern. That is Chef Kevin Gilbert's restaurant. We're all going to be meeting up in the private upstairs room. We've already booked the room. And right now we have, let me make sure I get our numbers accurate here. We have 28 people set to go. So we've already met the minimum requirement, which is great. But we have about another 30 plus spots left. So, if we don't sell out the room, so to speak, there's no issue. We're going no matter what. But if you guys would like to come and meet a bunch of your fellow Coffee Club members and fellow Jet fans, make sure you reach out at this email on your screen and express your interest. I've received several emails of people that want to come or want to show up. If you do, feel free. Again, if you're not going to the Jets-Cowboys game and you still live in the area, you can come to this event. So this is not exclusively just for the people that are coming. Of course, the people that are coming, it makes a lot of sense if you're already coming into town. So keep that in mind. I wanted to give another shout out there. We have an exclusive sign-up sheet that you guys can get involved with if you guys would like to get a taste of the Boy Green Coffee Club and everything else. So it should be pretty gosh darn cool. But I want to give a quick shout-out to that here on the show. Thank you very much. We also have our scrolling ticker, baby, down below for our contest, and we'll keep you guys abreast of all of that info coming on in. All right, let's get into some players who are safe and some players who may not be. One player who my father highlighted as a player to watch in this game. Well, actually, before we get that, look at this. We got a membership coming in. MFC, baby. Mother effing chew. We can't miss that. Toot, toot. That's what I'm talking about. Mother effing chew gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership, which went to Nikki Boo Boo. All right, Nikki Boo Boo, whoever you are. You just got yourself a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. And mother effing chew, you're up to 17 raffle tickets for our contest this month. So I guess we should probably show everybody in the universe what the hell is involved in our contest this month. So we will do that here in just a second. So beautiful. And MFC, you're now tied with Cole Young on our big board here for raffle tickets, which is terrific. So thank you so much and appreciate it. Yeah, there you go, baby. Very nice. 17 gosh darn raffle tickets. That's what we like to see, baby. That is what we like to see. That's for dang sure. Okay, beautiful. All right, let's throw it up on the big screen. Why not here? Here are the prizes that are involved in this month's giveaway. Now, if you're new to the channel, you're like, what the hell is going on here? Well, I'm asking myself that question every day. But separately, we do monthly giveaways here on the channel to try to give back to you, the fans out there in the universe. And I think you guys deserve it. And it's this. If you spend at any point during the month of August $3, $3, you have a chance to win all these prizes I'm flashing up on the screen. That's just how it works. If you gift a Boyd Green Coffee Club membership, like MFC just did below, it's $2.99, so you get a raffle ticket and you give a coffee club membership to one of your fellow viewers out there in the universe. By the way, I don't control who it goes to. You guys give me way too much credit. I don't control that at all. That's up to YouTube, but they do say in the little bylaw section on the rules that the people that are gifted, number one, have the switch turned on. You could go in my YouTube description. If you've never received a Boyd Green Coffee Club membership, it's very likely you don't even have it turned on to accept a Boyd Green Coffee Club membership. If you go in my YouTube description, it explains how you can do that out in the universe if you just want to win, free memberships. Or you could just sign up yourself. The pinned comment right now is join the Boyd Green Coffee Club. It's $2.99, and there's a lot of cool perks, including tonight, we're going to have 2 members-only videos. The rest of the world will not see this. It will not stream on Facebook. It will not stream on Twitter. It won't be available to normal subscribers. If you want a part of these 2 special video live shows tonight, we'll have one at 7 o'clock and one at 8 o'clock, but they will be for Boyd Green Coffee Club members exclusively. Shout out to Badshaw for the great idea. So we'll be doing that this evening. I hope you guys take full advantage of that. There's all kinds of cool perks to the Boyd Green Coffee Club, and that is certainly one of them for just $2.99. So first off, you get all the perks of being a Boyd Green Coffee Club member. You get a loyalty badge next to your name. You get all these emojis made by Jets Worldwide. You also get access to our Discord channel and to members-only videos like we're going to have later this evening. Plus, you have a raffle ticket to win all the free stuff on your screen. So let's go through it. We got a Highland Mint Super Bowl III flip coin that is flashed in 24 karat gold. It's a limited edition coin. It's a spectacular coin. I want to keep it, but I'm giving it out to the people. We only have one of those. New York Jets logo athletic prime hoodie t-shirt also on your screen. A vintage blast from the past Jets t-shirt from yesteryear. And on top of all this, Badshaw donated the Kickoff Kitchen cookbook from our guy Tim Lopez, and that copy will go to you out in the universe. It includes an appetizer and entree from every team in the NFL, including your New York Jets. So it's one of our really good prize packs that we've had, and we do it every month here on the channel. And 99% of the time, I will make it clear if it's not, the raffle tickets are only $3 a pop. So it makes it affordable and easy for everybody. So good luck to everyone out there in the universe that will be competing for these wonderful prizes. So shout out again to MFC. Thank you for gifting that Boyd Green Coffee Club membership. All right, let's do this. We've got a super chat member shout out coming in here on the show. I'd love to see it before we even get down to business. Let's see. Zariah Luna.
Wow.
All right, TGP Adam. Hey, BG. Been a long time, that's for sure. Hot take, Braylon Allen, 8 touchdowns. Good Lord. I mean, that'd be spectacular. I can't even remember the predictions I did with Woody. But one of these shows before the season, it was like your 5 stat prediction takes. And I said that Braylon Allen will finish with more rushing yards than Breece Hall. We'll see if that's true. I like the 8 touchdown thing because he could totally be a vulture down at the goal line. Now, the only thing that's going to affect Braylon Allen, I think he's more than capable, he himself, of scoring 8 touchdowns. But he could get vultured by, obviously, Breece. But obviously, Justin Fields, if they do any tush-push action, that could take from Braylon. But I like the sizzle of the take. I'm going to be honest. I love the sizzle of the take. That is terrific. So, nice. Yeah, continue, guys, to send those in. And shout out, it's early afternoon in England, but Good Morning Coffee Club's already on my 4th coffee of the day. TGP Adam, thank you as always for supporting the Boyd Green Coffee Club. Even in England, baby, we're international. I love it. Thank you so much for sending that in. I love it. That's, again, the sizzle of the take is pretty good. There we go, baby. Pretty good. Beautiful. And Nikki Boo Boo's in the chat, a new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club. So enjoy. You will have access to those exclusive live shows this evening. All right, let's do this. Let's get into the players that aren't safe. One player who doesn't appear safe, folks, Malachi Corley. That's the player I was just talking about my pop. He mentioned him. Ooh, player to highlight. Well, here are some concerning things about Malachi Corley. Here's some concerning things. Malachi Corley didn't play in this Giants game until the fourth quarter. Outside of 6 snaps on special teams where he played earlier, Rich Cimini says, quote, does not bode well for his prospects of making the 53. The fact that he couldn't get into the game until the fourth quarter at wide receiver, yeah, boy, it's just not looking good for Corley. And here's another note on the Corley stuff, more stuff from Rich Cimini. This came from his article on Sunday. Corley's clock is ticking. It's clear from practice and game usage the second-year wide receiver is on the roster bubble. League-wide, it's unusual for a former third-round pick to be in such a precarious position this soon. They usually get a free pass for 2 or 3 years. Corley wasn't just any third-round pick, though. He was the top pick for the round, 65th overall. He also cost the Jets 2 draft picks because they traded up 7 spots to take him. None of the 64 players that were picked ahead of him have been released. So obviously, this would be notable. And Rich Cimini gave us all a reminder, hey, the Jets have given quick goodbyes to third-rounders before. Ja'Kai Polite was a third-rounder in 2019. I can't believe it was already 6 years ago. That makes me feel old. He was cut before his first season even happened. Off-field issues. Jabari Zuniga, another Florida guy, third-rounder, was cut before his second year. So we haven't had any success. Both of those players coming from the great college Go Gators from Florida. I don't know if there's any commonality there, but nonetheless, thank you, Rich Cimini, for that shout out. Yeah, as JCK says, what a disaster. Yeah, that unbelievable. And yes, MFC, you say it in here. I had high hopes for Corley, as did I, man. We thought we were getting Deebo Samuel 2.0. That's how people described him. But he can't even get on the field in a preseason game. Oh boy. Oh boy. And here's the other thing on Corley. To get him involved in the game, you need manufactured touches. You need a package of plays. It doesn't seem like you can just play wide receiver like any normal wide receiver, which has its pros and cons. The pros, of course, is, he delivers, in theory, a unique skill set that could help you as an NFL team. The problem is, Fox Sports Talk, we did not forget Elijah Moore. He was a second-round pick, not a third-round pick. As a matter of fact, he was closer to a first-round pick than a third-round pick. He was 34th overall. So very high second-round pick. Elijah Moore not on that list. And he wasn't cut. He was traded. But that's neither here nor there. But I would just say this on Corley. He requires a special set of skills from the offensive coordinator to maximize what he brings to the table. And unfortunately, he's not getting on the field, which means he's not being utilized in that way, which means he now has to contribute in other ways. And we're not seeing it. This is just incredibly disappointing. Now, it's the previous regime. It's not this regime, and that helps the marriage process. If those aren't your people, it's a little easier to rip the Band-Aid off. And so Corley, not safe whatsoever. Absolutely not safe, according to Rich Cimini on this piece. And apparently Zach Rosenblatt agrees, because Zach Rosenblatt at wide receiver, here are the receivers Zach Rosenblatt believes are safe. Garrett Wilson, okay, I agree with that one. Josh Reynolds, sure, yep, that one makes sense. Tyler Johnson, okay. And Arian Smith, according to Zach Rosenblatt, these were some tweets that were put out after the game. These are the receivers, according to Zach Rosenblatt, he believes are safe. Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, and Arian Smith. I'd agree. I think Garrett Wilson's safe. I think Josh Reynolds safe. I think Arian Smith's safe. And I hope Tyler Johnson's safe. That one I feel a little less certain about, but I'll take Zach's word for it. Another player Zach Rosenblatt says is safe if healthy is Alan Lazard. Again, I just don't, if a trade's going to happen to the Steelers, I just don't see it before week 1. Why give the Steelers any sort of an advantage? Because it would inherently be an advantage. Regardless of what you think Lazard can bring to the field, his just being around Aaron Glenn and the Jets offense, he could spill all kinds of trade secrets to the Steelers before that game. So I am not voluntarily giving that info to the Steelers. Absolutely not. So that will not happen. So I wouldn't cut him either. But here's the other thing: you have a veteran, right? And even though he took a pay cut, once they're on the roster week one, you deal with some of those issues, I suppose. But we can figure out the money later. But and the if healthy part, Lazard's dealing with the shoulder. It's supposed to be a 2-week injury, and we said that last week. So obviously he missed all of Giants week, and then likely all of Eagles week, and then in theory with that bye week and then the season, that should be the pocket where Alan Lazard sort of jumps in there. Let's see J-Boy here because I brought up Garrett Wilson. So when do we start talking about G-Dub getting paid and falling off a cliff? Not in the preseason and not in training camp. Absolutely not. Let's get to the season. Let's see what happens. Has he, again, I was at the Jets-Giant joint practice, and the entire time I'm like, come on, baby, let's see a big-ass Garrett Wilson play here. And it didn't happen. Didn't happen. He had a couple of short completions and 7-on-7 and then made some wiggle moves, but nothing Garrett Wilson spectacular. That certainly did not happen. So, no, I'm not willing to talk about that at all. He's only been targeted 4 times, and while it hasn't made a love connection yet, I'm not worried about that at all. Again, I would love to see it, but we just haven't seen it yet. So, no, I'm not worried about that. But, hey, I appreciate you bringing it up, J-Boy. I appreciate you bringing it up. Speaking of wide receiver, let's throw another one in there. Zach Rosenblatt says Jamal Pritchett, he's the undrafted free agent out of South Alabama. He, quote-unquote, has the edge over Xavier Gibson at this point. So you do have this. There you go. So Jamal Pritchett, edge over Xavier Gibson, which I would agree with. Plus, Xavier Gibson hurt his shoulder again. He missed the preseason opener because of his shoulder issue. Then in the Giants game, he makes his preseason debut. Boop, he's out, shoulder again. So I think Xavier Gibson, hey, man, you get hurt, that could cost you your job. That looks like it. And if the Jets, this is from Zach Rosenblatt, if the Jets keep 7 receivers, the conversation is Quentin Skinner versus Brandon Smith. And I see we have people talking about that here. Let's bring up number 1 Washington Jets fan. Hey, look at this. Number 1 Washington Jets fan. It's like you know my notes. So let's get into it. He says Brandon Smith and Quentin Skinner make the team. Both make the team? I don't know how the pieces fit. So let's go through it, right? So if Zach Rosenblatt is right, and these 4 receivers are safe, Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, Aaron Smith, that's 4. Okay, so let's throw that up on the big board real quick. So we have those 4. Alan Lazard would be 5th, and I think he's making the team. So you have 5. Jamal Pritchett, is he making it as that special teams returner? Then we're at 6. I don't think we're keeping 8, which would be Brandon Smith and Quentin Skinner. So now you got to make a choice. Here are the details on these 2 players. Brandon Smith is a smaller guy, 6'1", 218 pounds. So he's heavier but shorter. You'll understand in a second because Quentin Skinner is 6'5", 195. So Brandon Smith has some Brutus beefcake on his frame that one Quentin Skinner does not. He's got 23 pounds on Quentin Skinner, so he's bulkier, but Quentin Skinner's a lot taller. Skinner's 6'5". Brandon Smith is 6'1". Here are their results so far in the preseason, if you guys are willing to count these, okay? Go to Brandon Smith. He had 2 catches for 23 yards against the Packers. Against the Giants, he had 5 catches for 48 yards. We go to, and that was Brandon Smith. We'll go to Quentin Skinner. In the Giants game, he had 4 catches, 48 yards. So the same amount of receiving yards as Brandon Smith, okay? But in the Packers game, he only had 1 catch for 26 yards, but it was spectacular. I really enjoyed the catch. So if it's a battle between those guys, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? We'll put up a poll real quick, okay? 1 receiver makes it, okay, between these 2. So let's do it. Brandon Smith. Okay, who makes a roster, okay? Brandon Smith or Quentin Skinner? Let us know in the comments section. I'm about to put it up here on a poll. There you go. Okay. We just did it. If you're watching the show, make sure you hop on over to YouTube and you guys can make that vote. I just put the poll in there. The poll is now up. Brandon Smith or Quentin Skinner? Where do you guys lean? We have 300 people in the room. Appreciate it. And let me see. 100 of those 300 people are on the YouTube, baby. You guys are on the YouTube watching the show, which I appreciate. Thank you so much. Thank you. But I'll tell you this, the math doesn't math, baby. We've got 100 people in the room on YouTube, but only 34 likes. Smash that like button. Suplex that like button. Give that like button a choke slam from hell. Come on now, that's a free way to contribute and gets this Jets show in front of other fellow Jet fans. So please make sure you do that. I'd appreciate it on YouTube. I appreciate when you guys send super chats, memberships, and all that jazz. But the free way to do it is how we keep growing the show, baby. We keep growing the show. Let's get those likes up. All right, I think we had a member shout out here. I want to make sure I don't miss this while we're waiting for this. We got Swamp Thing. Let's get a shout out here on the show.
Wow.
Swamp Thing NJ has been a member for 13 gosh darn months, over a year. Woo! There we go, baby. There we go. That's deserving of one of these, baby. Thank you for supporting the show and being a member for over a year. Folks, to be a Boy Green Coffee Club member only costs you $2.99. In the first half of shows, you can join that with the pinned comment on YouTube. But if you're watching, because we're supposed to have a special guest in 9 minutes on the show, that transitions to our YouTube description, where it always is. If you want to join the Boy Green Coffee Club, get a raffle ticket, support the show, become a member of this community. We're going to have 65 screaming Jet fans and Coffee Club members of the Jets Cowboys tailgate. I am humbled by that number, and I hope we could keep smashing that number every year moving forward and doing more and more and more with Chef Kevin Gilbert, which I'm very excited about. So Swamp Thing NJ, salute, good sir, and thank you for supporting the show. Appreciate you. Let's go. All right, let's take a gander here at the poll. What are the people saying on this conversation? All right, let me see. Get a lot of votes in. Okay, Quentin Skinner is leading the pack right now. 57% of you think he makes the roster over Brandon Smith. Here's the thing I would say if I was just to sort of categorize these guys. I think Quentin Skinner is a better deep ball guy, and obviously the size that you like at 6'5". So there's potential. Now, Brandon, if we're just talking about the better overall player based on what we've seen, it's Brandon Smith, man. He's been consistent. He was popping last year. You know, there's a consistency there, which I like. So I don't know. And Quentin Skinner, you know, all cards on the table. He helped me with my big Justin Fields story. He was one of the players I interviewed that was invited to the exclusive Justin Fields offseason event between mandatory minicamp and training camp, and he helped me with that story. I like Quentin a lot. So I'm a little biased, of course, but yeah, I think both players, hey, man, that's what this hard Knoxian thing is all about, that they're fighting for this roster spot, if it is to exist. I don't know if the Jets keep 7 wide receivers. It's unclear if they will or won't. We don't have any real roster history for Aaron Glenn or Darren Muji, for that matter. Hey, another player who's safe going to the running back backfield here, Kene Nguanu, according to Zach Rosenblatt. His special teams prowess keeps him there. And yeah, I think he's going to be a dynamic returner, and it'll be great this year, unlike last year, to make him the returner immediately. Last year, remember, they waited till the Seahawks game, They had him on the practice squad the whole year and just left him just sort of sitting there. And then the Seahawks game comes up. They're like, all right, let's give this former All-Pro a spin, an immediate kick return touchdown. We're like, what were the Jets doing all year? What an idiot. But luckily he didn't lose them. Some other team, when players are hanging on the practice squad, they could be stolen at any point. A team can call up Kene Nguanu when he was on the practice squad last year and said, hey, you want to be on a 53-man roster? Pack your bags, sonny, and booyah. They're there. So that's how it works. So Jets got very fortunate. They're goofing around. Didn't cost them Kene Nguanu. So, that certainly could have happened there. Going back to Samini here, another battle we've got going on is at tight end 3. So Mason Taylor is the starter or not the starter, depending on how you interpret that with Jeremy Ruckert. But those top 2 appear safe. Obviously, Taylor's safe. But Ruckert's pretty safe based on the other guys in the room, I would say. So now we got a battle for the tight end 3 spot, according to Rich Samini. Stone Smart, Zach Kuntz, Neil Johnson. Kuntz. Okay? And then Stone Smart just sent Abdul Carter to the shadow realm. He sent him to the grinder, perhaps. He sent him to the grinders. There you go. You got Stone Smart, Zach Kuntz, Neil Johnson. That is your group, respectively, coming up here on the show. By the way, fire Aaron Glenn. I haven't seen him back since Cole Young sent him to the grinder. He's been in there a while. So I guess mission success for you, Cole. Mission success. But there you go. There's some players that are safe, some players that are not safe. And yeah, it's a pretty good conversation. I would say, though, there's been some chatter. I just want to sort of make this one clear. Heading into this Giants game, I said, hey, Adrian Martinez out there in the universe. Hey, Adrian Martinez, you have a great opportunity tonight to make some noise. And he made noise, but it wasn't good noise. No. He threw an awful interception as he was rolling out to the right. And I don't think he secured this spot that could have been available as both the QB3 and potentially the QB2, depending on the health status of one Tyrod Taylor. So there's a few people that have been giving praise to Adrian Martinez. And again, I like the guy, but the results, like, what the hell are we doing? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the extra love for Adrian. That was a stupid play. I'm not saying he should be stoned to death, but to say that he secured his spot or anything, that sort of noise out in the social media universe. We watch different games then, man. We watch certainly different games on Martinez and how he performed in the Giants game. So we'll see. Let's keep going through your guys' comments here. Appreciate it. We should be joined by a special guest here in a matter of moments, and then we'll also open up the phone lines here on the show. All right. Yo Holmes, let's bring him in here. By the way, he will be at our wonderful tailgate. Can't wait for that. Adrian Martinez is practice squad guy at best. Brady Cook has no touch and can't throw a spiral, which I normally have as prerequisites of playing the quarterback position, but that's neither here nor there. Hey, man, I'm telling you, I think there's going to be some ops with some quarterbacks shaking free. Did the Jets want to sort of shake up the apple cart? When Tommy DeVito? Again, hey, you guys made a lot of jokes about Tommy DeVito when I brought that up as a possibility before the Jets-Giants game, and now who's laughing? Tommy DeVito looked pretty good. The rainbow ball he had, wait, Tommy DeVito could be that guy. Now, again, I know Tommy DeVito likes the area, so that helps the Jets if they potentially go to lure in at Tommy DeVito. I think it would make a lot of sense. Again, they could just claim him off waivers, and he would have no choice if they have the 7th overall pick waivers. And for those who don't know, that's not like a fantasy football draft where you get someone at 7 and then you go to the back of the line. You stay at 7 the entire offseason, so you can claim as many people as you want. Now, here's the kicker, though, right? You claim a player, right? Let's just make it up. Giants cut Tommy DeVito. Just go, ooh, we love Tommy DeVito. We claim Tommy DeVito. If you do successfully claim a player, which means one of the 6 teams ahead of you in the Jets case don't claim Tommy DeVito, then you get him, but you have to open up a roster spot. You can't claim him to the practice squad. If you claim a player, they got to go to the 53-man roster, which means you need to create a corresponding roster move immediately. So if the Jets claim or submit a claim in for Tommy DeVito, they have to be ready to cut a player and tell the NFL, okay, if we successfully get this guy, we're getting rid of whoever this is, or this, or this, or this, or this. So keep that in mind, folks, as we're going through that process. And those notes and quotes I just gave you will be pretty important as we're going to the final preseason game here and some cuts. MFC says, fuck DeVito and his mob wannabe agent. Oh, okay. That is Sean Stellato, by the way, and he's a nice guy. I've met Sean several times. I work with some of his clients here in Syracuse. I've met him in the New England area before. Very nice individual. Very nice guy. Luca is on my Pops train of love Kyle McCord was spring. We took him in the draft. I didn't get a chance to see him. The Eagles played the Cleveland Browns, and I saw the Browns' first couple of drives, and then the Eagles had Dorian Thompson-Robinson in, so I didn't get a chance to see McCord. I had to do other things, so I didn't see how McCord performed ultimately in the Eagles game, so I'll have to look up the stats at a later point. But, yeah, maybe a rookie could be the way to go, potentially. That could make sense. Sure, certainly. That could be possible. NC Green says Jets opening up a roster spot should be no problem, implying that a few guys who are on the team maybe shouldn't be. Okay, let us know how you really feel, NC Green. I appreciate that. Thank you. Very nice. Incel on Tommy Cutlett's a starting experience that matters. I think that's what the people lose, right? Everyone talks about, look at the Italian guy. Hey. And they're like, what a joke. But look beyond that. Look beyond the agent. Look beyond the hand gestures. Okay. Tommy DeVito's had experience in the league, and not just experience like Tim Boyle's had experience. Like, he beat the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football against Jordan Love in a battle at MetLife Stadium. How many Jets quarterbacks have done that? MetLife Stadium, comeback victory. I mean, Tommy DeVito led that, man. So, and that's just one off the top of my head. There is some, like, Tommy's got some stuff, man. He's got an arm. Now, I know a lot of his flaws because I covered him here at Syracuse, and things didn't work out. He was supposed to be the savior, and he was not, fairly or unfairly. And then he leaves, and Syracuse was like, "All right, see ya," and he went to Illinois. So, you know, Tommy Cutlets, I like Tommy a lot. I know a lot of his flaws because he had a lot of those here in Syracuse, but there's a lot of positives. He's playing in the National Football League, for Pete's sake. He has some of those good opportunities. So, like I said, we'll see what happens there with the quarterback conversation. All right, it's time for our special guest, baby. He joins us every Monday at 8 o'clock. The beat reporter for the New York Jets, JetsXFactor.com, and the Riverdale Press. Let's bring him in. Yo, mama's favorite, Nick Faria, here on the show. What's up, Nick?
How's everything going, Paul?
It's going well. And Nick, I'll just start off right off the top. And by the way, reminder, we have 300 plus people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Nick, I love this. You were obviously covering the Jets as you normally do. You got a little Joe Tippmann action in the Jets Giants, post game about that center conversation. Some exclusivity on JetsXFactor.com, baby.
Yeah, listen, it's what I do here. It's a lot of fun being able to talk to these athletes. Again, the chance to do that, it's a lot of fun.
So let's do a follow-up on that. So obviously, preseason game numero uno, Joe Tippmann plays guard because John Simpson was out and the Jets decided, hey, Josh Myers center, Joe Tippmann, you kick over. This week, John Simpson, he returns. Oh, what are the Jets going to do at center? Tippmann was the starter, but there's a couple of interesting high snap situations that seem to happen there in those first couple of drives with Justin Fields, and that makes some people nervous because he sort of had the yips with some of that Aaron Rodgers action, which caused some unrest there. Again, previous coaching staff and all that jazz. What did you gather from the Jets' decision to slap Tippmann out there immediately? Because some people were concerned that maybe Myers is going to start the game and get more run at center. That obviously did not happen. What's sort of your temperature on this comp?
Well, I think the temperature is what a lot of people agree with in that Joe Tippmann is going to be the starting center because he's just a better overall blocker to this point. You saw a couple of big runs in a game against the Giants sprung because of a play that Joe Tippmann made. From a run-first offensive schematical standpoint, you want the best center that can run block. And he absolutely does that. He's also a very good pass blocker. It really comes down to one thing. Can he get his snap situation under control? And I do want to preface, he is still a very young player. He's only in his third NFL season. Jason Kelsey is one player who I compared to. When I spoke to them, I asked him about the snap issues. And, it's not uncommon for young centers to go through this. When Kelsey was in his first 3-4 years in the league, he dealt with a lot of high snaps. He struggled with it. He struggled with it even later in his career when he was an all-pro. And the big reason why these things happen is that centers rush the snap. Essentially what they are is they're trying to get out and get their block, trying to get to the second level. And the only way you do that is by making sure the snap gets out of your hand as quickly as possible. So it's not uncommon to see what Tippmann is going through in this instance. I'm sure if the Jets were really, really concerned, there would be a different conversation here. He doesn't seem very concerned about it. It's more of just a focused mindset, make sure he's going through each particular thing. Kind of like how a receiver sometimes drops a football because he's trying to run before he actually secures the catch. Very similar situation. So it's one of those things where it's just going to happen to young centers like him. But again, the tape is the tape, and the tape clearly shows that he has just been better overall than Josh Myers. Now, does that mean that the Jets are only looking at him as a blocker? Probably not. I think they like that Josh Myers has a lot of experience. They love Joe Tippmann's versatility. If John Simpson or AVT go down, they'll simply move him to guard. But it really feels like this is Tippmann's job to lose at this point. And quite frankly, the longer they go on with this kind of charade of, oh, we're still in a competition, it's only going to hurt the offensive line further. That's really what it comes down to, because you need to get these guys working together as much as possible. Flip-flopping centers, probably not the best thing going forward.
All right, let me do another one here on Tippmann, and it's this. Obviously, you must have brought it up to him in the one-on-one conversation, and fans do this all the time. When people question Joe Tippmann, we go, hey, man, look at PFF. He was top 10 in this, top 10 in this. So, hey now. and it looked like Joe Tipman responded to you bringing up the top 10 statistic there, and did he disagree with it and say something else? Like
He
what
kind of
was?
just deflected it. It's one of those like he kind of was just like, yeah, listen, PFF will say what they say, but that's not the official grade on what I believe. I think I messed up a couple of times. Thought I did this wrong. Thought I did that wrong. And again, for a young ascending player, this is going to happen. And people, we look at Armand Membu this year and we say, oh well, he's going to solidify the offensive line at right tackle and it's going to be perfect right from the get go. But that's not really what's going to happen. That's not exactly fair to put on him right away to start his career. It's better to at least allow him to get incrementally better, continue to improve. And that's not just in 1 year, that's in multiple years. You cannot judge a draft class on 1 year. It usually takes 2, 3, maybe even 4 years from these guys to really figure it out. So to me, the way that I look at it is this offensive line is going to be really good. And it's going to be really good because when you're running the football effectively, it's going to open up a lot of different avenues for you. But the main thing that I think would need to be addressed with both Tipman and Membu is the fact that this is a very young group. This is a very young and inexperienced group. Olu Fashanu is going to be the starting tackle really for the first time in his NFL career as a full-blown, do your job, this is your role type of thing. And we don't know what bad games are going to happen. We don't know what matchups they're going to struggle with. It takes time to develop this kind of continuity.
And oh my goodness, speaking of the offensive line, Armand Membu, the last time I saw this was some sort of a rodeo movie where the ole and went right past Armand Membu when Kayvon Thibodeau was in front of him and he gave him the ghost move and Armand was oh, and I was like, whoa, that was like instantaneous pressure. And I was like, Jesus. And Justin Fields like, Jesus, I got to get rid of this thing. I was like, good Lord. But, it's not like, geez, Armand Membu's a bust. That's not the thought. The thought is like, whoa, okay. Like, from 7th overall pick and being a really promising young player we feel good about versus going through the trials and tribulations of being an offensive lineman and sort of like getting reps and getting to your craft. It just goes, okay, there's a gap of time here. There's some experience and reps that need to be built up in the catalog here.
Yeah, 100%. And listen, he had that whiff of a block in pass protection. Wasn't obviously a good rep. A couple plays later, he had a pancake on Thibodeau that was fantastic in the run. It happens. It really does happen. And, people will argue about the pick compared to when they needed a tight end. They wanted this, they wanted that. But when you draft an offensive lineman, you were drafting for the future of the franchise. You were trying to draft to make sure that the entire group can play at a high level for a decade on. I mean, the hope is that Armand Membu and Olu Fashanu are your starting tackles for the next decade. And as of right now, I have not seen anything to show that they are wrong in that assessment. I love the potential that I've seen from Membu, and Fashanu's had a great camp. He's been fantastic in training camp. So it's one of those things where he's going to struggle at times. He's going to get beat sometimes. He's also going to get some wins on his belt. It's just having that incremental improvement, having that patience, and allowing these guys to develop at their own rate.
There's some conversation based on everything that's happening in the Jets quarterback room. Justin Fields, okay, he's the starter. We can have conversations about Fields, and we will. But backup Tyrod Taylor, okay, knee surgery. He's out for the preseason. Who is that other quarterback? Because that might be very important week 1 if, Tyrod's unavailable. And do you go with Adrian Martinez or Brady Cook? Or perhaps, just like any other popular game show, door number 3, Nick Faria, and you with your Eagles connections are an interesting guy to ask this question to because this has been a name that some Jet fans have discussed. Looking at depth charts across the league, could this be a guy that shakes free? Kyle McCord, Syracuse product. They look at the Eagles quarterback room and go, wait a second, he might not make that team, which means it would be subject to waivers, which means the Jets could have a chance. What have you seen from Kyle McCord this offseason in your Eagles family and everybody that's around over there? Do you have any info you can share on the Kyle McCord experience so far this offseason?
Yeah, he struggled. And again, it's going to happen. There are not many Tanner McKees out there that just walk in and you're like, whoa, okay, wait a minute, we got something here. I mean, I remember Tanner McKee gets drafted 6th round, walks into his first preseason game and throws for like 150 yards. And everyone collectively was like, where the hell did that come from? That was fantastic because he had struggled in camp, struggled at times during practices and everything like that. But McKee's got a great arm, and he clearly is at the cusp of a Matt Schaub type career where he's sitting behind a really good starter. You're not going to beat him out, so he's probably going to have to go somewhere else if he wants to be a starting quarterback, and he will get that opportunity. The one thing that I will say, it's probably not McCord that the Jets would go after if they're going after an Eagles backup. It's probably Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR, only because, and I will say this, if Philadelphia decides that they would rather keep McCord on the roster, which is certainly a possibility, allow him to develop on the practice squad, do all those different things, they could look at DTR and say, listen, we don't really need you. Jalen's our guy. We've got a really good backup, and we have our rookie to develop. We'll send you off somewhere that you could potentially play. And DTR is not the best backup available, but in this Jets offense, you want as much uniformity, as much consistency as possible. Kyle McCord doesn't really do that for you. He's a pure pocket passer. DTR is someone, though, who's run this similar type of offense. He has the athleticism to run the zone read and the read option and the RPO. So all those different variations that the Jets are going to be working on for the next 3-4 weeks, it's just one of those things where it makes the most sense. Now, Philadelphia may want to keep DTR for that exact reason, because Jalen's a kind of guy like that. But they want to have an excuse to keep their rookie class, at least their rookie class moving forward. And that's always been Howie Roseman's thing. That could mean that DTR is on the way out in a couple of weeks. And if he is, I think it's a really good fit for the Jets because he's going to be cheap and he's going to be able to run the offense that both Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor can move.
Would that be a trade situation or just other teams are waiting outside the club and say, oh, he's going to get cut?
Yeah, I think people will wait to see if he gets cut. I mean, Philly's got 13 picks coming up in this draft, so they're going to be aggressive. I mean, they already got John Mechie. Maybe they get Trey Hendrickson. Who knows?
Oh boy.
But it's one of those things where they're never set on another deal. Like they're always looking to make a deal, and that just kind of opens up the avenue of, okay, maybe they trade DTR. They could also just flat out cut him and say, yep, no problem.
That could totally happen. All right, you brought up Trey Hendrickson. I just sort of want to address this because Jet fans are an interesting creature. Every time a player's available, guys, huh?
They're not the only ones that are thinking that.
Which I imagine not. But let me ask it from your beat reporter perspective. Should the Jets have any interest in Trey Hendrickson? Not because he isn't a good player. He's had 35 sacks the last 2 years. It's more than anybody. But where they are and the age of Trey Hendrickson, importantly, is that the right fit for the New York Jets?
Well, first off, let's be quite honest. Does he make the team better? Yes. So, yes, they should be interested in him. No one's denying that. However, are they at the ability to pay $30+ million for an edge rusher? Are they at the mercy of giving away 2 first-round picks and giving up a good defensive player? No. And that's just the line of sight here. We have to be honest about that. And we can talk about, listen, they should be this, they should be that. They're trying to bring in good players, but they're not at the point yet where they can go out and give up a first-round pick and say, we don't need to worry about this. It's going to be a very deep quarterback room next year in the 2026 draft. You should have as much ammo as possible, and they do have enough ammo as possible to go and get their guy. What does that mean? It means whoever ends up available in the teens or the 20s, whatever it is, the Jets going to be available to pick them up. You don't have that if you have to pick up Trey Hendrickson. He is more of a fit for a team like a Washington, like maybe a New England, I think Carolina, Detroit. Teams that have their quarterback or believe in their quarterback enough to say, let's build around him on the rookie deal and bring in someone who's obviously over the age of 30, but can still put up pretty good numbers and carry a large cap hit.
There's been a few people. Well, actually, real quick, just to clarify, what do you think the price is? If Trey Hendrickson gets moved, there's been some whispers about that this week. What's the price? And do you think he gets moved? So, what would it cost? What would another team have to give up to acquire Trey Hendrickson?
Yeah, the price is going to drop. And I think that's essentially where we're at. Because if you look at this current negotiation, the Bengals have bungled this up so much. And quite frankly, teams can wait them out and say, listen, buddy, you don't want to pay your guy. That's fine. We'll wait until you're ready to have an honest conversation. So right now they want, I think, 2 first-round picks and a top player. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I'm trying to think. So Washington, they're not gonna give up Bobby Wagner to bring in Trey Hendrickson or anyone like that. It's one of those things where the Bengals don't really know what they're doing. They've never really known what they're doing. They picked up Joe Burrow and said, okay, we're done. We picked up the quarterback. We're good. And they're kind of living in the reality of, well, we don't really know what to do outside of getting our quarterback, so let's just trade away some of our top guys. Hendrickson's on that list. He'll get moved. I would think it's probably going to be 2 first-round picks, no player, maybe a mid-round pick that goes to it. I would be surprised if he costs anything less than 2 first-rounders, only because he's still an all-pro, still a really good player, and put up 17 sacks in the last 2 years. But the fact they're looking for a defensive good player, screw that. If I'm an NFL team, I'm waiting them out.
Yeah, and that might end up working out for them. Again, we're speaking with our beat reporter, Nick Faria, here of JetsXFactor.com, the Riverdale Press. He's joining us here on Boy Green Daily. We'll get to your phone calls here, everybody, in just a little bit, but a couple more interrogative questions here for Nick Faria before we move on. And, you know, earlier in the show, we're talking about what some of your other beat reporters in the room, players they think are safe and players they don't think are safe. And I'm curious your thoughts on it. Malachi Corley, a lot of your teammates there do not believe that he's safe. Rich Cimini mentioned that he didn't even get into the game until the fourth quarter against the New York Giants in terms of the offensive snaps. Zach Rosenblatt is talking about other receivers. Is Malachi Corley, in your opinion, Nick Faria, firmly on the block here for the New York Jets?
Oh, I mean, you have to think about it. It's absolutely. And the one thing I will say, this is very uncommon, very, very uncommon for a team to give up on a top 3 player, a top, within the first 3 rounds after a single season. Most of the time when a player goes through that and the team gives it up, it's because the player is disgruntled, is angry about the situation and speaks out. You look at Isaiah Wilson with the Tennessee Titans a couple years ago, where he didn't even play a full season with the Titans, and they cut him. Those kinds of situations. But most teams, they try to get 2 years out of a young player. So it is very, very, I'm not going to say weird, but it's very uncommon that the Jets are essentially saying, Malachi Corley doesn't have it. He clearly doesn't know the playbook well enough. He's not producing enough in practices and all those other things. Instead of waiting it out for a year, we may just do this now. And they're well within their right. This is a new regime. They were not the ones that drafted Malachi Corley in the first place. But quite frankly, it's very hard for a young player who was put in the doghouse at a very early stage in his rookie year. I mean, he was put in the doghouse in camp, didn't really get a lot of action, to sort of build back up with no coaching, and then be willing and able to make a new roster with a new regime and everything like that. In a lot of ways, Malachi Corley is not absolved from his factor. He has not been able to play well enough to show any sort of competency at this point. But the Jets haven't really helped him out either. And it's one of those things where what comes first, the chicken or the egg in this instance? Does Corley have to show something before the Jets give him the opportunity, or should the Jets give him the opportunity to see if he can show something? We haven't really seen either happen. And that essentially leads us to believe that Malachi Corley is going to eventually be released at some point. It's a little surprise for me. I thought they would give him at least another year potentially. They still have another preseason game to go. Maybe he dominates in that game and changes their mind. But the writing is on the wall when you don't get action until the midway point of the fourth quarter. Put it that way.
That's for sure. Hey, let me get this on. We'll go with Justin Fields first. After the Packers game, the logical, rational take was the Jets are going to the Super Bowl and Justin Fields is going to be this year's MVP, obviously. And then we go this game. Oh, Jesus, he's the worst quarterback of all time, and we're going to get the number 1 pick. So, Nick, it seems like perhaps the truth might lie somewhere between those two very close ideas.
It's very clear, and it's kind of the point that I've been making, what this offense is going to be. They are not going to throw the ball 30 times a game. It's just not going to happen. You're going to target Garrett Wilson, I would say 10 to 15 times, and then split the final 10 to other receivers and pass catchers. This is not an offense that is going to be predicated on throwing the football all the time. And Justin Fields is not going to be asked to read the defense. We have already seen throughout his career and through the preseason that he cannot do that. And that's okay. We know what he is. The Jets know what he is. They're not paying him top dollar as a starting quarterback. They're paying him $20 million, which is around the below average for a starting quarterback in this league, particularly one not on a rookie deal. So the way that I talk about this is, yeah, he didn't play well. He didn't read the defense well enough. The accuracy was off, and his release is just too long that he was late on some throws. All of that needs to be taken into account, but this is who he is. This is what the passing offense is going to be. This also doesn't mean that the Jets offense is going to be bad this year. I think they can surprise some people because they're going to run the football effectively. The fact that they were able to have an 11-play drive that got into the red zone for their second drive, I think that's a very good sign. They didn't complete a pass, and yet they still got into the red zone. Why? Because they ran the football and averaged over 5 yards a carry. If you're averaging over 5 yards a carry, even with a stacked front, who gives a crap if they're not throwing the football? Run the ball until they know how to stop it.
So are you saying we should dig back deep into the closets, blow off the dust on the ground and pound Rex Ryan t-shirts?
See, the way that I wouldn't even say Rex Ryan because the modern offense, Rex ran a modern offense.
Okay.
It's the counter trays, it's everything like that. This is more, in my opinion, of a 70s style offense with a running quarterback. And this is what I put. You never had a running quarterback in the 1970s. You had a couple that were speedy, that could get out of the pocket, Fran Tarkenton, Kenny Stabler. Yes. But Justin Fields is a pure scrambling quarterback, and that's what this offense is going to be. It's not going to be predicated on, getting down, throwing the ball downfield and completing 80% of the throws. It is going to be, we're going to punch you in the mouth, and you're going to have to stop us. And there are not many defensive lines in the NFL that are going to be equipped to handle that. And I think that's where the Jets offense can find success this season. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be top 10, but are they going to be a lot better, statistically, just efficiency-wise? I think they can, based off of last year.
All right, let's get into this. And it's a beautiful segue coming off the ground and pound and all the running talk. Garrett Wilson. There is some concerns among some fans that have been in the chat so far, based on preseason, right? He was targeted 4 times across the 2 games. We haven't seen Garrett Wilson. And in the practices. So I only went to 1 practice, so I can only judge it based on the one Jets Giant Joy practice I went to. And Garrett was just sort of involved in some 7-on-7 action, but nothing more than that. He didn't make any of his crazy Garrett Wilson plays from years past. And some fans are concerned to the comment section that he just got paid the bag, but now we're not seeing Garrett Wilson. It seems a little premature to me, but I want to go to you, Nick, because you've obviously seen a lot more of the practices, obviously, than I have. What is your concern level at this point with Garrett Wilson and his involvement in the offense and how he is going to be maximized and utilized?
So if I were to give a 0 out of 10, my concern, it's probably a negative 50. Wow. What are we doing here? Like, come on. We can talk about how the work between Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson's a work in progress. Okay, fine, whatever. He is a player that has been New York's only key receiving weapon for the last 3 years. And he still put up 1,000 yards. He still put up close to 100 catches, all this. The panic here is just absurd, in my opinion, because what are we doing here, guys? It's preseason action. I don't know when preseason games became such of a holy grail of if you don't play well in the preseason, it means that you're going to suck in the regular season and you have to play well in order to play well in the regular season. I don't know when this turn happened, but it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life because coaches now do not want to show anything in the preseason. They are running vanilla schemes and vanilla plays and everything about it. When Justin Fields led the touchdown drive, it was out routes and corners over and over and over again. What are we doing complaining about preseason action where Garrett Wilson has 4 touches and doesn't get the football and doesn't catch a football because it's 4 touches? Guess what? He's going to get a lot more than 4 targets in a regular season game. He's probably going to be somewhere closer to 15, not 4. So what are we doing here? What are we actually complaining about? We absolutely could be looking and saying, we'd like to see that connection work a little bit better and everything else. And fine, they're working together for the first time in years. There's always going to be a continuity problem and all those different things. This idea that Garrett Wilson needs to show something or Justin Fields needs to dominate overall, why? Why do you want that in the preseason? What goal is it? What happens when he dominates in the preseason? Do we honestly think that there's going to be some like highlight package when the Jets open up the season in Pittsburgh and they'll say, yeah, look at that highlight in the preseason against the Packers, baby. That's what we want to see. It's going to literally be zipped away because it does not freaking matter.
Well, producers behind the scenes, make sure you cut that clip. That'll be a nice little YouTube short there. So thank you for that. I love the energy, Nick, that seemed to, get you going there. I love that. Let's rev the engine. No better way to jump into the phone lines, baby. The deep end of the pool. We have 400 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. We'll play a quick hep timeout, and your phone calls are next. We've got a fired up Faria, baby, and hopefully you guys are ready for it. Here we go.
Boy Green daily, Green daily, Green daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green daily, Green daily, Green daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets. Let's go.
All right, there you go. And, the world's turning and hell is freezing over when Indy Jet says, this Nick Faria guy is starting to grow on me. Well said, Nick. Well, blessed be he. Every blind squirrel finds a nut, Indy. And I'm glad that we finally reunited you guys. It's beautiful. Really.
I don't get it. Why does this matter? Why, even so, like, everyone got so upset because I said, hey, yeah, you probably shouldn't play starters in the preseason.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's what people
gives a crap if they play or not. Like, why is this such a big deal?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, but I do know that immediately incensed fans. And I just went, oh, let me go check on Nick Faria's Twitter. I'm like, oh, good Lord. And I just saw comments this.
None of this matters. It's one of those things. None of this matters at all. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, Pittsburgh, they looked really good in the preseason with Kenny Pickett, and they looked really, really good. And everyone's like, man, the Steelers could be playing well. Oh, man. And then they lost to the 49ers like 38-10. Why? Why is this such a big deal? Why do we need to see the starting quarterback dominate in the preseason? It doesn't matter.
It's a good point and good questions. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, if you guys disagree with what Nick Faria just said, feel free to call in. That is the pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. Additionally, on top of being on YouTube, we do stream live to Twitter and Facebook, so you guys may be enjoying that product over there. But if you'd like to call in and get your participation trophy, you must do so on YouTube. Make sure you click that pinned link. And also while you're there, like the video, hit subscribe. We brought this up in the poll earlier. I believe this was Rosenblatt. It was. He says, if the Jets keep 7 wide receivers, which is up in the air, he said the conversation is Brandon Smith versus Quentin Skinner. And he sort of, talked about some of the pros and cons we talked about here on the show. Brandon Smith is shorter, 6'1", but he's heavier at whatever he is, 218. Quentin Skinner's a taller guy at 6'5", but he's much lighter at 195. And they've had varying levels of production in the preseason. First off, do you think the Jets keep 7 wide receivers? And if so, Brandon Smith or Quentin Skinner, who has an edge if there's an edge to be had?
Well, first off, I don't think they're keeping 7.
Okay.
And mostly because you have to look at the rest of the roster. Mm-hmm. They could keep 7, but then, okay, who's going to be your returner? Quite frankly, I think Kenny Nguanu locked that up in the preseason action, not just as the returner, but also on special teams with his great save to keep a punt inside the 10. I thought Nguanu was great, and I think he more than deservedly opened up a roster spot for himself after that game. So that means, in theory, you're going to keep 4 running backs because Nguanu is a running back. So you're keeping 4 running backs, and you're going to keep Beck. So that's 5. And again, he's not necessarily a fullback, but an H-back, fullback type. So that's 5. You mean to tell me you want to keep 12 skill position players on this offense? That's bonkers to me. It's absolutely bonkers. Mostly because you need 10 offensive linemen. I think 10 is always a safe bet overall. So keeping 10 of those, you keep, let's say, 2-3 tight ends, that's 13. You keep 2 quarterbacks, that's 15. Now you're looking and saying, okay, well, if we have 5 running backs, now you're at 20. You really want to hurt the defensive depth so you can keep 7 receivers. It doesn't really add up that way. So I think at most they keep 5. I think 5 is probably the sweet spot. I originally only had 4 making it to the final roster, but at this point, maybe they try to keep Lazard. We're not really sure what happens there with his injury. And then maybe you're competing with the Smiths and the Skinners and all those different things, the Corleys of the world. But the wide receiver room essentially feels like, in no particular order, Garrett Wilson, Arian Smith, Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, and then the big question mark at the 5th receiver spot. And that's about it, because you're really going to only carry 23 defensive players. That would be a little weird, to say the least.
So let me ask you this. So, there's a school fight happening. Quentin Skinner and Brandon Smith are beating the shit out of each other in the front yard. We're all looking through the window, but they're beating the shit out of each other for nothing. There's no spot available.
I think Smith probably has played more consistently. Skinner's made a lot of highlight plays, and I think that will help him as well. But Smith's been everywhere. I mean, of him and Pritchett, I think those are the 2 guys that have really, really helped their stock in the preseason. And we also have to remember, there are also, when it comes to preseason action, there are a lot of really good players that look really good in the preseason. Really, really good. And they're unable to do anything in the NFL because the speed, the physicality, it's all a lot different. And they're just essentially called preseason heroes. I think that's what we're looking at some of these guys, like a Quentin Skinner, like a Brandon Smith, where they're not going to be much in the NFL, but they're still going to be serviceable players that are trying to earn a roster spot at this point in their careers.
Nick, before we get to the phone lines, you mentioned a word that reminded me of a word that you said on social media. You said weird. And speaking of weird, Abdul Carter, let's throw this up on the screen if we can. So if you watch the Jets-Giants game, you might have noticed somewhere in the middle of the game that Stone Smart absolutely sent Abdul Carter, the 3rd overall pick, Penn State pass rusher extraordinaire, to the shadow realm, throwing him on his tuchus. And then Chukwuma Okorafor cleaned it up by throwing him back on his tuchus again. And there was sort of a viral, funny moment. Look at this guy. Oh, welcome to the NFL, you bastard. And then after the game, Abdul Carter took to social media. This was the next day. Quote, might be the only highlight of the Jets all season. Oh, hey, whoa, where did that come from? And we put BTA, which I believe I looked up, beat that ass is what the kids say. Okay. And weak ass Chip ate that motherfucker like a barbecue. Interesting. Faria, your response.
It's a very rookie thing to do for Abdul Carter. And quite frankly, it's weird because he dominated in joint practices. He knows he dominated on the scoreboard. Why is he worried about a chip block? I mean, this happens to a lot of players. This happens to a lot of great edge rushers. So this is not an uncommon thing that has happened for anyone at this stage. It's a good block by Stone Smart. Pretty much nothing else to it. Again, like I said, this isn't going to be on a highlight reel when the Jets kick off week 1 against Pittsburgh Steelers. It's just not going to be because it's preseason action. But for Carter to make this more than it is, kind of a welcome to the NFL rookie type of moment where he probably just should have kept his mouth shut. It just looks weird here. Why are you talking at all? Like, you're a really good player. Why are you worried about a clip that the NFL is putting out? It doesn't make any sense.
Also, not to highlight this because that's not the kind of guy I am, but if we look, Jake Asman's the one that reshared it. Over the last 8 seasons, the Jets have been slightly better than the New York Giants. So where's this elitist mentality of like, hey, might be the only highlight of their season? Hey, Giants, you might have the number 1 pick next year with that schedule you're facing. Where the hell is this heat coming from? It's not like the Eagles are talking here and they're like, hey, we're the defending Super Bowl champions. Stay in your place, Jets. It's the
I have a feeling Carter will be giving out a couple pot shots to the Eagles as well. It's just This is what it sounds like from the people that I've heard at Penn State. This is what he always did. He was always the kind of guy that was sort of creating conflict and going for that. So doesn't surprise me.
Okay, very interesting. Just wanted to highlight that. Das weird. When we get that response from Nick Faria on social media, we must bring it up here on the show. Let's go to the phone lines. We have Badshaw here on the show. What's up, Badshaw?
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm a little disappointed in some of our members. given up on it's just preseason, and we give Nick, we give Pop, we give them all this shit because it's like they're kind of labeled as negative. They're always pointing at, and they're always pointing the little flaws out and whatnot. But I'm like, you're hearing Pop say it, you're hearing Nick say it. There's nothing to be worried about. It's freaking preseason. I think, I said this after the week 1 game. The whole reason we watch preseason, or the reason I do, we've been deprived of football for a few months. So if you're a diehard Jets fan, you're ready to see some Jets players out there. And, you've got other people like Ricky New York, who's got like a player from Florida State that's not going to make the roster, but he wants to see him out there catching passes and whatnot and stuff like that. I'm the same way. Last year we had a guy from the Razorbacks. I was wanting to see what he did. That's kind of what preseason is. And then if you're lucky, you have a situation like we had week 1 where we went out there and smacked the Packers all around the field.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're all fucking happy because that's awesome. You're like, I'm just going to watch this game, see how it goes. The next thing you know, we're going to the Super Bowl. Whatever.
That's it, baby. Yeah.
But honestly, if the preseason is that big of a deal, I'd probably be throwing a fit because I think the Giants probably have the easiest preseason schedule you can have. I mean,
oh yeah, that's true. We got to factor that in. That's a good point. Yeah.
And I mean, don't they play all their games in New York this year?
That's another. Let me check. Let me double check their schedule. I had not considered that. Okay, let's take a discount double check here. Oh yeah, the Bills, Jets, Patriots. Yeah, that's an unbelievable advantage. That's an unbelievable advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm not bitching about that. I'm like, at the end of the day, Nick's right. It's preseason. They're just doing whatever they can to get by. They're running plays. They're probably running, and then the Giants ran a play where they put their, I believe, defensive tackle in at fullback. Did y'all notice that?
I did not.
Number 9, I want to say it was number 94. I think his last name was Chapman. They put him in at fullback on a random ass 1st and 10 play.
Really quick. I gotta let one of my staff in really quick.
Okay. Yep. You'll be back. I got you, Nick. Yep. Okay. But yeah, I would say that too, Badshaw, is that, and that's cool. Although randomly that happening on, a 1st and 10 play. Yeah, I must have missed that.
Yeah. It was after they kind of had a big play, like maybe like a 15, 20-yard play on us. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing I know, he runs out there and they had pointed it out because I was like, what's, when you see like a number 90 player on offense, it kind of
eyebrow raising for sure.
Yeah,
like, absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, I think they were just doing random shit. We were doing random shit. We did a lot of random shit that first game. So like I said, it's nothing to get worried about. I mean, I'm not saying, I do think we were all getting a little more hype than we should have week 1, but anyway. Oh, I'm on? Okay.
No, yeah, yep, we got you. I think that was just a skip. Yeah, go ahead.
But now, Nick, I need you to squash this. My wife actually had 2 questions, and she never has questions when it comes to the show, except where we're going to eat at. Where we eating at for the meetup. So she has got this conspiracy theory, and she's got it from a reliable source, Facebook.com,
sure,
that Jason Kelsey is going to come out of retirement and go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Can you please squash this for me? Because she brings this up every week. Jason Kelsey's coming back, and he's going to play
the
with
Taylor
his brother
Swift episode, New Heights podcast, makes a lot of sense. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. First, why would the Chiefs want to bring in Jason Kelsey when they already have Creed Humphrey? 2, Why would Jason want to come back to a football field after being a Hall of Fame player already?
Probably true. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's
Hey,
it. Yeah.
And three, why in God's green earth would
Yeah.
Philadelphia, who has given him long-term extensions 5 different times, allow him to go to a different place to play football?
That's a good point. Good point.
Hey, Nick, I'm hoping this is going to squash this because I'm tired of hearing about it. That's Jason Kelsey is her man crush. I've got to hear about him all the time.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm trying to get this bug squashed. But
well, I just have to tell you, Betcha, real quick, just because you brought it up, my fiance uncomfortably, since we're just bringing up uncomfortable conversations from our house, she brings up Jason Kelsey to me all the time, and I'm like, okay, and she's like, oh, if I met that man, I'm like, I'm right here. What the hell is going on here? So there's been a lot of that. There's been a lot of that. Yeah.
And at least Jason Kelsey. I mean, I don't know. There's some guys out there. It's like she could be wanting Brad Pitt or somebody that.
Okay.
I just I mean, obviously I'm not an All-Pro center, but anyway, so it's not as bad as Brad Pitt, I guess.
I guess that's true. But here's the thing. This is just really insulting, right? So the thing that she said she would say if she ever met Jason Kelsey was she would go up to him, put her hands out and go, uppy, because she'd want to be held by Jason Kelsey. And I said, Jesus Christ, I'm sitting right here. And that's incredibly, it's taken away like my man card over here. Like, what's happening here? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yes. And if Chef Kev is out there,
yeah,
listening in the coffee club atmosphere,
he normally is. Yeah.
She's wanting to know. We were looking at the menu Saturday.
Sure.
At the Cloverleaf Tavern.
Yep.
Crawford, I believe, New Jersey.
I think it's Caldwell, but it could be Crawford. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And it says they are out of stock. Is this going to be available when we go to Cloverleaf? She is dead set on this lobster roll.
Okay.
Can Chef Kev make this happen? And I'll let you get other callers because I've rambled on long enough.
That's okay, Batch. I appreciate that. And the Jason Kelsey horrific nightmares I just had to relive in the relationship with my fiance. Thank you very much. I'll let you know. That's a good question. I will tell you guys, again, for those who don't know, for that meetup we're doing on Saturday, October 4th, because we're all going to be in the area, that will be off the normal menu. Not saying Batch, I have no idea. I'm not a lobster roll guy, but if that's on the menu, hopefully Chef Kev can get it back for you from that perspective. We'll take a few more callers here before we wrap up the program. We have nearly 500 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe, baby. Just want to let you guys know that the tailgate menu is not going to be the menu, obviously, at the restaurant. That'll be its own thing the next day. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Man with a jet tattoo is back on the show, baby. What's going on?
Hey, Nick. How you doing, boy green? Excuse me for my reclining on the couch. I'm very tired.
No, you seem like very comfortable, and that's the way I want the callers when they're asking questions. Yeah.
I get up at 5 o'clock to go to the gym, so sometimes it catches up to you.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
This has got to stop. This preseason shit has just got to stop. I remember when preseason football wasn't even on TV.
Wow.
You couldn't even find out what the hell was going on in training camp. You might see a little blurb in the newspaper. Now this is a separate season. I mean, we should have a trophy for the end of preseason. Who won the preseason, Instead of a Super Bowl trophy, we'll have a preseason trophy.
Which, by the way, speaking of that, Nick Faria, when you put out your preseason power rankings, just have it noted by the gods that, again, the Giants were completely in New York. They were on the road against Buffalo. They were home for the Jets game. They're going to be home again this week. I just want that to be clear out to the universe. They play the Patriots at home. It's a lot of New York. That should just be factored in when you're putting in those power rankings for who's the preseason Super Bowl champion. I just want that to be clear to the universe. Great point, Badshaw.
And I also have to put a little bit of blame on these Boy Green, you and Nick. There's so much content out there. Nice. I mean, my God, there's so much content. You got me hooked on it.
Get busy living, get busy dying.
You got me addicted. I'm watching Jet content in June, and oh my God, training camp's going to start one more month, and I'm like, when did this happen to me?
Guilty as
You
charged.
know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's just crazy. But I don't know. Look, like I told you last week, relax. I
Yeah.
think Nick said relax too. Everybody's got to relax because this is just now. Let's suppose when they play the Eagles this weekend, if something good happens with the Jets, it's going to be all over social media. Oh my God, Justin Fields is going to bring us to the Super Bowl. Arian Smith, number 2 wide receiver. So anyway, it's. I'm not going to watch the last game. I'm not even going to watch it.
What?
I'm not going to watch it.
That's un-American. You have to watch it.
I know it is. I know it is. But I'm coming. I'm going to watch. I'm going to wait until they go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh comes to the Jets.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait for that game. I have no idea what's going to happen in that game. Do you have any idea what's going to happen in that game?
Hell yeah, the Jets are going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers ass
Okay.
all over the place. They're going to turn
What
their
about you,
candy ass
Nick?
sideways.
What about you, Nick? What do you think?
I reserve my right until we get to the week of the game.
There you go. That's
Okay.
It. He punts.
Well, I'm going to let you guys get on with your New York Jet content, but I just want to tell everybody, please relax and stop it.
Okay, please relax and stop it. Well, we'll see if we can follow that creed coming in here. All right, let's wrap up the show. We've got EZ calling into the show. Oh yeah, baby. What's up, EZ?
Hey, not much. I think the preseason is when they install plays and practice stuff. And a lot of the times, if you see an interception in the preseason, I believe it's because it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It's not going to go against your stats, but you want to see what you got in these younger players. You want to see if these younger players can adapt to the ball if you throw the ball, like back shoulder and stuff. You're trying to test these guys out. You're also testing out what do you think is going to work and what isn't going to work. Obviously, you want to win the game, but the most important thing is installing the plays and getting an idea of what's going to work and what's not going to work. You have your plays that you already know are the standard plays, like a down and in, down and out slant. So, I mean, you know how that stuff's going to work, but you're trying to install things and just trying to get an idea of what's working. If you win the game, that's great. But the most valuable part of the preseason is to test out the newer plays, to see if your players can do the newer plays, and quite frankly, to see if your 3s and 4s can pick it up a level where you got enough decent depth. So wins and losses is not the most important thing. However, lackadaisical plays and stupid play, that will still piss the coach off.
I agree.
I agree. I agree with all of that. And I just want to preface, Justin Fields went 1 of 5 in the preseason. Patrick Mahomes in games has started 1 of 5 passing. Do they stop throwing the football after 5 throws? Of course not.
No way.
Of course
no way.
So this notion that, well, because he had a bad game here, that means he's going to be bad the rest of the way is not true. Now, I don't think he's a particularly very good quarterback to begin with, but can he be serviceable enough to run this offense in a way that gets the Jets to wins? Yeah.
If they can run, he'll be serviceable.
Yeah,
if the other teams figure that out, and if the other teams decide to put 9 men in the box and completely take away the run, then he's got to win through the air. And I think that's what a lot of the teams are going to do. I think they're going to stack the box. I think they're going to try to stuff every hole, because as I discussed with Paul yesterday, Breece Hall, if he's got an opening, he's a demon. If he doesn't have an opening, he's very journeyman-like. He's not good at. I don't think his vision is that good. I just believe that in my heart. I don't think he's got the vision of some of the top elite backs. I think he's a top back. I just don't think he's a top elite back. And he's the type of guy, he's got to have a little bit of an opening to get his engine running. Once he breaks it open, he's hard to catch. And he is a bigger back, so he's hard to bring down. But that's the problem I see with Brees. So we got to see what Brees can do with a stacked box. If he can't do it, then we're in trouble.
I think so. An easy, great call. But like I said, we'll see what we get when the regular season hits and what this committee split ends up looking like when we get there. All right, let's wrap up with a couple more phone calls here on the show. 04 Jets fan continues to chime in. I love it. What's up, buddy?
Well, I listened to the post-game show. I didn't call in due to frustration. It did not look good.
Yeah, right, naturally. Yeah, we got smacked around. Yeah.
I'm on a call-in show, honey. Stop.
Yeah, you're on TV. Yeah, let's see. There you go. Yeah, sure. Here you go. You're on TV. Welcome to the show. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. There are a few players that are roster locks, but let's talk about one that I think is almost a guaranteed cut at this point. And it hurts my Ohio State heart, but Jeremy Ruckert's got to go. He's done nothing. And he's done absolutely nothing.
My only question would be, and I want to make this clear, right? Jeremy Ruckert gets drafted, Jets fan. I'm like, ooh, what a story. And immediately when I see the results, I'm like, man, this guy stinks. He can't catch, he can't block, he can't do nothing. And then we fast forward to right now at this moment. I'm like, I still feel that way. But then I look at the rest of the depth chart. I'm like, who's taking his job? I feel like he's sort of a lock because of lack of people. Let me go to Faria, Jets beat reporter. Jeremy Ruckert's job status?
I think he's going to make the team, and I think it's because they think of him as a better blocker. And who else is going to play over? Like, who are they going to bring in at the tight end position that's going to start over?
Right, Neil Johnson? I don't think so.
I get it. It's just I would Quentin Skinner.
Yeah, he's the wide receiver. Yep.
Oh, dude. He's got some ball skills.
Yeah. That was a great catch. Great touchdown catch. Very nice. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just there's a lot to change coming at the end of this. Everybody keeps talking about freaking the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. I want nothing to do with him. As a Buckeye fan, McCord. He's a statue. Yeah. He's an absolute statue. DTR, I'd take him if we could get him. All right. Faria, Nick, you said something about DTR.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah, if he's cut, I'm not trading for him. I ain't giving him nothing. But we need to find that third quarterback. We need to find a new tight end too in the next year. I think we might have a future wide receiver too on this roster in Arian Smith. He's showing me some things.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of his size.
Oh.
I like the bigger bodied guys. That's just me.
Hey, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You can put whatever you want on your dating profile as far as I'm concerned. I like that. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Boy Green, just because that's how you swing secretly doesn't mean you got to come after me like that.
hey, you know what? Different strokes for different folks, but I like the cut of your jib. Yeah.
I've got confidence in the defense this year.
Okay.
I feel like they're going to take a step forward.
All right.
I'm not saying where they were the 2 previous years compared to last year. Top 10, maybe. If they really do take a good step back. Offense, I'd like to see them in the top half of the league.
Oh,
16 to 14 edge. 16 to 14. And that's the question.
There it is. And 04 Jets fan, thank you so much for the call. And thanks for coming back. His question is, so we'll put the defense aside. Let's go to offense. Okay. Can they be a top 6? There's 32 teams, from what I understand with the math in the league. Can they be a top 16 offense?
I don't think 16 is the right way to go. I think top 18, top 20 is probably where, like, I could see them finishing somewhere like 17, 18.
Okay.
And it's
All
because
right.
they're going to run the football effectively and they're going to put up
Sure.
a lot of yards on the ground, kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't see them above average,
All
just
right.
with the passing and everything. They're not going to throw
Yeah.
the ball. And I think that's probably where they're going to stand. And that also could mean that they're going to be pretty solid. I mean, the offensive numbers last year weren't great either. So I would say top 20, top 18, certainly within that realm.
Which, by the way, this is sort of funny to say out loud. That's massive progress over what we've seen, man. So, some people are like, ugh, average, below average, which technically that is what that would be saying. But for us, skyrocket. That is an absolute massive quantum leap into a different, Star Wars multiverse. If we could get there. So, please, gods, that would be nice to see respectable offense. All right, final call. This will wrap up the show. Chef Kevin Gilbert joins us here on the program, and that locale that he's in, let me just take a closer gander here. Oh, that looks pretty familiar. Oh, I've seen that. I was there in person just last week, which was terrific. So, Chef, thank you for gracing us with your presence.
No, absolutely, man. BG, Nick, man. Good morning, fellas. Appreciate y'all time. Thanks for taking my call. Shout out to the Coffee Club members, Australian #1 Jet fan, man. Appreciate you being back, man. Hope everything's getting better. I wasn't gonna call in, man. Normally my thing is like Wednesday or whatever,
Sure,
but
right.
I'm at the office. I'm normally off today, but because I'm going to Mexico on Wednesday,
Oh, wow.
I gotta like plan and get everything together and whatnot. But I heard my name a couple times,
You did.
and then the man with a Jets tattoo. I was kind of like I didn't really know what angle he was getting at because it seemed like he was complaining that there was no Jet content way back when, and then saying that there's like too much now. So it's like what I was kind of confused by all that, but I'm definitely with him with the relax, calm down kind of stuff. Just
Yeah.
knowing his his preseason, man. Like
Sure.
at the end of the day, like this is kind of when we shine. Like the draft time, the preseason stuff, the off season or whatever. Like this is kind of when we're like at a high.
Yeah.
So if you don't really like all this stuff, then come join us during the regular season when we're like pretty angry and miserable. Like if you feel good about that, maybe week 6, maybe week 7, in years past, and we're talking about the draft and what quarterbacks are available and just firing management and everything like that. But right now it's just taking it day by day, knowing that easily right now, man. Like I don't remember Salah being like having a sense of urgency when he first got here after the second preseason game, but like with his tone at halftime saying everything was sloppy, and then in the press conference, like in the post game, like it seemed like there's some sense of urgency. He's gonna try and do what he can do to kind of clean this up and get it fixed. I don't remember the other regime, man, 2 preseason games in with this kind of like tone. So, I feel good with this. Also knowing like we didn't have a lot of people on defense. I was at the game, man, and seeing that Russell Wilson moon ball, man, I can't hate, man. It felt like that ball was gonna fly out the stadium. It was so damn high. And if you take that away, like there was a chance that we could have pitched a shutout in that half. So it's like, I did see some stuff where it was like, all right, we can definitely clean up some things. But the one thing, man, knowing Nick, man, I always appreciate Nick's time, man. Like, especially last season, like after that Denver debacle, man, like I was on the front, man. I called up that Wednesday and
Oh,
Nick, I
yeah.
spoke to you about, hey man, like what's going on? Then for literally for the rest of the season, man, Nick, I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? You're like, I don't know, nothing. I'm not hearing anything. And then, weeks, months later or whatever, you're like, yeah, they're holding tryouts at the stadium. I'm like, like what the hell we do? We doing yo, just sign somebody that could kick the damn ball. Like, what do y'all need to see, man? Like, it was just it was a head scratcher. I was pissed off. We lost a bunch of games because of that, like, 3 games at least just due to kicking, man. Like, my question, Nick, man, do you feel good about where we're at in our kicking game, punting and field goals, like going into the season?
Yeah, no, they'll be much better special teams than last year. You see it the way they work now. It's much better.
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. Knowing that we got Nick Folk, man, and that other cat kicking, man. Like I do feel good. I know you guys got to run, man. I did hear Badshaw talking about lobster rolls. We do lobster rolls every Wednesday in August. We bring in a bunch of lobsters fresh, steam them off, cook them off, whatever, and take care of it. That's only for Wednesday. So,
Okay.
you guys are coming on Saturday to
Yeah, that ain't
hold
gonna
those
happen.
lobsters until then, freshness and all that. But we'll see if a couple are lucky enough to live a couple more days, and then
We'll
kind of do our thing on Saturday. But no promises, Bashaw.
I appreciate that. Chef, thank you so much for the call. And Nick, I know you got to go. So, Nick, thank you so
Appreciate it.
much. There he is, Nick Faria. And I'll just say this here as we had Chef here on the show is that so sounds like a no go there. But if a couple of lobsters are hanging around, maybe. But again, for just to reiterate for that event, because I have to jump off too. But just to reiterate for that event, it'll be the regular menu at Cloverleaf Tavern. So you guys can see that online and check out the menu. This will not be our tailgate menu. So we're doing a meetup. Again, that is Saturday, October 4th. I'll throw this up on the screen one more time. My email, if you guys are interested in going to the meet and greet Saturday, October 4th, that's the night before, the Jets-Cowboys game. We're going to be hanging out for a little bit of time. It starts at 7:30. We might hang out there for, 90 minutes or something like that, maybe 2 hours, something like that. And then we're going to get ready for the next day. So it'll be a nice little meet and greet there. We'll get to hang out and everything else. So again, for all the details, and if you are interested in attending that, even if you're not going to a Jets Cowboys game, right here, Paul, the letter, my last name at jr@gmail.com, PAULAESDEN, jr@gmail.com. It's also flashing up on your screen. Feel free to reach out and I can add you to the list. We got about 30 people going right now, and the maximum ceiling is 60. We can't allow any more than 60 in the building. So if you guys would like to come, reach out ASAP and I can put you on the list. It'll be an exclusive list for that meet and greet the night before. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you to the 500 people in the room. If you are on YouTube, please like the video, hit subscribe. We're trying to make a chase to 8,000 subscribers. And let me check what we're at right now at this very moment in time as we're signing off here. Let me take a gander. Let me see. We are at, we're 105 away, people. We're 105 subscribers away from 8,000. 8,000. So if you're watching right now on Facebook or Twitter, or you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, we talk New York Jets content every single day. Please subscribe. YouTube.com/BoyGreen25. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and show all your love. If you are on YouTube, make sure you spread the word and get your friends and everybody else to be there. That'll be a lot of fun. And shout out to our boy Terrence here, who will be at the tailgate and the meet and greet. Can't wait to see you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you, everybody, for a fun Monday show. I will be back on live at 11 o'clock. We'll be talking Jets Giants Snoopy Bowl, my partner Jim the Man-Child Lurch, and also a lot of fun of the NFL preseason. So we'll be back on live on this channel in just 2 hours for some more live content. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take